This week's all about the green screening. Now, it's not all going to happen this week, which means that over the next couple of weeks I'm going to have updates about this as well. Now, you may have already noticed that the video quality is a little bit higher, and I'm at 30 frames a second now instead of 15 frames a second, and that's because I've got these shiny new cameras, which I now have 2 of, and so you should now be seeing that one as well. Yeah, so I didn't originally intend these to be used in this movie. I'm just going to leave that sitting there. I didn't originally intend to use these in the movie. I intended them for the next movie that I'm going to be doing. Well, actually, that one's a short film rather than a movie. Anyway, that's semantics. Then, when I started to get this all organised, it occurred to me that I may actually be able to work with these a whole lot better for the green screening, because instead of doing tricks to get it up to 720p, these are natively in 1080p, and that is going to give me much better results. So having the extra resolution is going to be very beneficial, because it means that instead of rotating things and upscaling things, I can just take it there and I can make it smaller if I need to. Now, the macro focus on these is very good. It's a 2-step focus, so it's either focusing in the distance or it's focusing really close up. So with that in mind, I'm actually going to be able to get a lot of the close-up shots that I wasn't going to be able to do very well before. And I should be able to do them really, really well. That pleases me. The trouble is that it doesn't really have anything in between. I don't want to sort of stick the switch halfway in between, because I don't know exactly how the switch works, and I don't want to end up wearing it out. I want to use these for quite a while. So one of the things I want to find out this evening is how well the focus works, because for most of the shots I'm not going to be using the macro, I'm going to be using the normal focus, and a lot of the shots possibly might be a little bit too close. However, because it's in so much higher resolution, that may still be better than the camera that I've been using. Holding it still is bloomin' hard. The next thing I want to test is colour balance. Now, the colour balance on the camera I've been using up until now has been, I can completely override it, so then that works very nicely. On these, I can't override it. I have to use the automatic white balance, and that may cause problems with the green screen. So, the goal of what I do tonight is to test out all the things that might go wrong and what works well, so that when I start doing the proper green screening tomorrow, I know exactly how the camera's going to behave, and I know what I need to do to counteract any issues that I get from it trying to be clever. Okay, I'm happy that I've got the white balance on all the cameras close enough, so that means I can actually start doing some green screening tomorrow. And turn left. So yesterday I had a jolly good play with the camera to make sure that I was getting the results that I wanted, and so that I knew how to get those results with this camera. I'm really happy with what I got there, so today I'm moving on to getting all the close-up shots. Now, it's semi-plausible that I might get most of the close-up shots done tonight. I'm not entirely sure whether that will be the reality or not, but I'm going to go for it and see where I get to. Okay, so this is just a really cheap way of just showing you how I'm keeping track of all the shots. So I've got the spreadsheet here, and as you can see here, I've got all the different shots, all the different motions that I need the character to do. And then along the top I have all the different characters, like so. And then if we come down a bit, and then you can see, okay, here's all the close shots. So the close shots are the ones that I'm doing tonight. And then we have the angle that I'm going to be shooting at. And so the ones that you see here, like they're labelled back, that means it's from behind. Here's one where we're doing the left shoulder, the right shoulder, above the character, below the character, and so it just goes on like that. So how this all works then, this one here is the batch number. So everything which I'm going to do now will be batch number 1, and then I'll relabel that to the batch number that I'm actually using on the computer once I actually have that, because I've got a script which handles that, and that actually generates that number on the fly. Then there may well be several takes. So what I'm trying to do is to get all of these into one file. What would be really ideal is if I could do the whole sequence. If I could do all of that in one file, that would be great, but it may not be realistic. I reckon I can probably do this whole sequence here. I could probably do that in about 30 seconds to a minute. Because each shot, I only actually need about 1 or 2 seconds for each shot. And then I can move on to the next one, and it'll actually be quite useful to have the transition between these shots, because a lot of the mood and the expression of emotion actually comes from the change of behaviour rather than the behaviour itself. Looking up. Believe it or not, that shot was a whole lot easier with this setup, so I'm happy with that, and that concludes everything I need to achieve for tonight. So yesterday I had a jolly good play with the camera to see how